What if I told you one of the most powerful cities in the modern world was never supposed to become powerful at all? No ancient empire built it. No royal family designed it. No perfect geography guaranteed its success. Instead, it began as a fragile stretch of land, surrounded by water, mud, wind, and uncertainty. A place so ordinary in appearance that early observers saw little reason to believe anything significant could ever rise here. And yet, against all expectation, this place grew into one of the most influential cities on Earth, shaping industry, architecture, culture, and modern urban life itself. This is not just a story about growth. It is a story about survival under pressure, destruction followed by reinvention, and ambition that refuses to stop rising. This is Chicago. Long before steel towers pierced the sky and highways carved through its landscape, the land that would become Chicago was defined by nature rather than human design. It was a vast region of wetlands, rivers, prairies, and open plains shaped by the slow movement of water over centuries. The environment was rich but unpredictable. It was not a place of permanent settlement in the early sense, but a region of passage, connection, and movement. Native American tribes recognized this long before European arrival. They used the area as a critical crossing point between the Great Lakes and the Mississippi River system, making it a natural hub of trade routes that spanned across the continent. Life here was based on movement rather than permanence, and the land served as a bridge between regions rather than a destination in itself. The name Chicago itself comes from a native word referring to wild onions or garlic that grew abundantly in the region. It is a small detail, but it reflects something important. This land was not initially seen as powerful, dominant, or strategically central in the way we understand it today. It was natural, seasonal, and organic, but beneath that simplicity was something far more significant. Geography often hides its importance until human development reveals it. And Chicago's location would eventually prove to be one of the most valuable transportation points in North America. When European settlers arrived in the region, they did not immediately recognize its potential. Instead, they saw difficulty. The land was swampy, transportation was slow, winters were harsh, and conditions were far from ideal for large-scale settlement. Early Chicago was not a city of promise. It was a challenge. In the early 1800s, it existed as a small and isolated settlement with wooden buildings, muddy roads, and a population so small it barely registered on maps. There were no signs that this place would one day become a global center of industry and architecture. But history often begins quietly, in places where nothing seems certain. The turning point came with infrastructure. The construction of the Illinois and Michigan Canal transformed everything. This canal was not just a project, it was a connection between worlds. It linked the Great Lakes to the Mississippi River system, creating a continuous water route from the interior of North America to the Gulf of Mexico and beyond. Suddenly, Chicago was no longer isolated. It became a critical gateway for trade. Goods could move through the city in ways that were faster, cheaper, and more efficient than ever before. And where trade flows, development follows. Railroads soon reinforced this transformation. Tracks spread rapidly across the United States, and many of them converged in Chicago. The city became a central node in a growing national network of transportation. It was no longer just a stop. It was a hub. This shift attracted people from across the country and from across the world. Immigrants arrived in large numbers, particularly from Europe, seeking opportunity, stability, and a chance to rebuild their lives. Chicago's population expanded rapidly, transforming it from a small settlement into a densely populated urban center in a remarkably short time. But rapid growth rarely comes without consequences. As Chicago expanded, it did so faster than it could properly manage. Buildings were constructed quickly, often using wood due to its availability and low cost. Infrastructure struggled to keep pace with population growth. Streets were crowded, sanitation systems were limited, and urban planning was still in its early stages. The city was filled with energy and ambition, but also instability. It was a place where opportunity and risk coexisted in extreme forms, and this imbalance would eventually lead to one of the most defining moments in its history. In 1871, a fire began in the city under circumstances that remain partially uncertain. What is known is that conditions were perfect for disaster. Dry weather, strong winds, and a city built largely of wood created an environment where flames could spread uncontrollably. The fire quickly grew beyond control, spreading from building to building, neighborhood to neighborhood, consuming everything in its path. This was the Great Chicago Fire, one of the most devastating urban disasters in American history. As the fire spread, entire districts were consumed. Buildings collapsed under intense heat. Streets disappeared beneath smoke and flame. Families fled with whatever they could carry, watching as their homes and businesses were reduced to ashes. By the time the fire was finally contained, a significant portion of the city had been destroyed. Over 100,000 people were left homeless, and thousands of structures had been lost. For a moment, it seemed as though Chicago might never recover. It had been nearly erased. But what happened next would define the city's identity for generations. Instead of disappearing, Chicago rebuilt itself with extraordinary speed and determination. Reconstruction began almost immediately. But this time, the approach was different. The city did not simply rebuild what had been lost. It reimagined itself. Wood was replaced with stronger materials such as brick, stone, and steel. Fire-resistant designs became a priority. Urban planning became more structured. And most importantly, architecture itself began to evolve. This period marked the beginning of modern architectural innovation. Chicago became a laboratory for new ideas in construction and design. One of the most influential figures in this transformation was Louis Sullivan, who introduced the idea that form should follow function. Buildings were no longer just shelters or commercial spaces. They became expressions of purpose and identity. The need to rebuild after destruction created an environment where experimentation was not only allowed, but necessary. And from this necessity, the modern skyscraper was born. As the city rebuilt upward, it also rebuilt outward. Chicago's economy expanded rapidly during the late 19th century. It became one of the most important industrial centers in the United States. Railroads made it a national transportation hub, connecting raw materials, factories, and markets across vast distances. The city's stockyards became legendary, turning Chicago into the meatpacking capital of the world. Livestock from across the country was processed here at an unprecedented scale and distributed nationwide. This industrial system made Chicago one of the most economically powerful cities in America. But industrial success came with human cost. The workers who powered this system often lived in difficult conditions. Long working hours, dangerous environments, and low wages were common. Many of these workers were immigrants who had few alternatives. As inequality grew, so did tension. Chicago became a focal point for labor struggles and social conflict. These tensions eventually erupted in 1886 during the Haymarket Affair, a pivotal moment in labor history. What began as a peaceful demonstration for workers' rights escalated into violence and chaos. The aftermath had profound consequences, not only for Chicago, but for labor movements across the world. It highlighted the deep divisions between industrial power and working-class demands, and it cemented Chicago's role as a city at the center of social transformation and conflict. One of the most notorious events of this era was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, where 7 members of a rival gang were killed in a brutal and highly organized attack. This event shocked the nation and reinforced Chicago's reputation as a city where power struggles could become extremely violent. Yet even during this period of crime and instability, Chicago continued to grow upward and outward. Its architectural development did not slow down. In fact, it accelerated. The city became a global leader in skyscraper construction, pushing engineering boundaries and redefining urban landscapes. Buildings such as the Willis Tower became symbols of modern ambition. At one point, it was the tallest building in the world, representing not just technological achievement but also the city's relentless drive to rise higher. even in the face of internal struggle. As the city entered the early 20th century, it faced new challenges in the form of prohibition. When alcohol was banned across the United States, demand did not disappear. It simply moved underground. Chicago became one of the primary centers of illegal alcohol distribution and organized crime. Criminal organizations quickly established control over this underground economy, creating networks that operated with both efficiency and violence. At the center of this world was Al Capone, one of the most infamous figures in American history. Under his influence, Chicago became a city divided between legal industry and illegal power structures. Speakeasies, smuggling routes, and underground operations became part of everyday life in certain parts of the city. Violence was often used as a tool of control, and rivalries between gangs escalated into deadly confrontations. At the same time, Chicago developed a cultural identity that became just as influential as its industrial one. Music played a major role in this transformation. Blues and jazz flourished in the city's neighborhoods, particularly among communities that used music as a form of expression and storytelling. These musical styles did not remain local. They spread across the United States and influenced global music culture. Chicago became a birthplace of sound, rhythm, and emotional expression. Art, literature, and theater also grew in importance. The city attracted creators who were inspired by its energy, complexity, and contrasts. It was a place where hardship and creativity often existed side by side. This cultural development added another layer to Chicago's identity, making it not just a city of industry and architecture, but also a city of expression and voice. In modern times, Chicago remains one of the most important cities in the United States. It is a major hub for finance, transportation, education, and culture. Millions of people live within its metropolitan area, and millions more pass through it every year. Its infrastructure connects different parts of the country, and its economy continues to play a significant role in national and global systems. However, Chicago also continues to face challenges that reflect its complex history. Issues such as crime, economic inequality, and urban division remain present in different parts of the city. Some neighborhoods experience rapid development and prosperity, while others struggle with long-standing social and economic difficulties. This contrast is not new. It is part of the city's identity. Chicago has always been a place of extremes, where success and struggle coexist in close proximity. Despite these challenges, the city continues to evolve. It continues to adapt to new economic realities, technological advancements, and cultural shifts. Its skyline continues to grow, its population continues to change, and its influence continues to extend beyond its borders. Chicago is not a static city. It is a living system shaped by constant transformation. Looking at its entire history, one pattern becomes clear. Chicago was never built on stability. It was built on pressure. It faced destruction and rebuilt itself. It faced industrial chaos and reorganized itself. It faced crime, inequality, and transformation, and each time it adjusted and moved forward. Its identity is not defined by a single moment, but by continuous reinvention. This is what makes Chicago unique. It is not just a city that survived challenges, it is a city that grew because of them. It is a place where destruction became the foundation for innovation, and where pressure became the force behind progress. Every phase of its history adds another layer to its identity, creating a city that is constantly evolving, never fixed, and always moving forward. This is not just history. This is a process of survival and transformation at a massive scale. This is what happens when geography, ambition, conflict, and resilience collide in one place. This is the story of a city that was never supposed to dominate, but did anyway. This is Chicago.